Atlanta, where the magic happens. My guest, Puja Shah, is here and she is going to explain who she is, what she does, and how she can help you. So, Puja, take it away.
Thank you, Tammy. I love everything that we spoke about, and we connected instantly. Hi, everyone. I am Puja Shah. I am hailing from London, UK. And I connected with Tammy online, and we decided that we need to jump on a podcast and spill some beans here around health, healing, and everything about, how can we heal ourselves. That is my whole life. I have been a nutritionist my whole life. I have worked in hospitals before. I am not a doctor, but I have worked in the capacity of nutritionist. So I understand a little bit of anatomy, but not much. Until I figured there is a way to find out what is blocking our chronic illness from healing. That's what I do using muscle testing. I do it remotely over the phone with people around the world. My clients are based in Europe, US, Canada. We can work from anywhere with anybody because the belief is we are all connected. When we
Yes.
are working together, my job is to find out the symptoms that we are getting is not a body failing you, it's sending you a feedback. There is a message. I am just here to listen with my hands.
That is so powerful, Puja. So, now share how did you actually come into this world of energy
Yeah,
healing from nutrition? Because I get it because I was actually a nurse as well for 32 years. So I know
that's
coming from that
awesome.
world to this one is,
Yeah,
it can be a little bit of a struggle because
yeah,
of all the things that you've seen
yeah.
naturally. So share
Yeah.
a little bit about, how did you actually get from there to here?
Sure, that's a great question. I have always been a big promoter of everything natural and everything as much as so. If somebody was taking, like, supplements, I would say, let's go with foods first. So that was my approach. Even before I started studying nutrition, I knew I wanted to do something in the field of medicine and I wanted to make a difference in people's life. In terms of becoming energy medicine practitioner, I was literally virtually invited into this world to become one. So it started with my own health and my daughter's health, where we were given a diagnosis, a label to manage for the rest of my life. And we were told, this is your diagnosis, go home, and there's nothing we can do. You will end up managing this until you are alive. And this is where I started digging deep. Everything that I knew, the belief system that I was following, like how can I work on my belief, every single thing that I knew naturally and spiritually, I started working towards that because I wanted to get my daughter well and myself well. And I could not, find the solutions that I was looking for. Therefore, I went
Yeah.
on a hunt and I said, even though I cannot see what it is right now, there has to be something which is going to help my daughter and me.
Yes.
And I went on a journey of hunting for answers, which was so frustrating, so depressing. And in that state that
Yeah.
I was, I had zero help. Even though I have a lot of well wishers, I had zero help. And it took me 9 months to find out Best Healing Solutions, which is the company whom I work with right now as a practitioner. But I started doing sessions with them. We found out things like foods that were reversing us, and we can talk about that. We stopped certain foods. Replaced our laundry products. That was the first thing I started with. I never thought that could be something that could be, blocking me from healing. And it did indeed.
Yes. Yes.
So these are the kind of things that helped me. I had to do a lot of forgiveness. There was a trauma that I was reliving when I was age 10. The same thing was passed on to my daughter by me unintentionally, and we had to do the same for her. So these are the steps that we took in order to get us better. And of course, I got curious, knowing from like the standpoint of spirituality and medicine, and I was like, we need to merge this
Yes.
because the world needs this. And I was like invited into this. I was into a totally different work environment. I was into finances before, and then like in between like nutrition and energy medicine, I was into finances, and I was invited virtually into this world where Best Healing Solutions invited me, like, we need you, would you be happy to join as a practitioner? And here I am, doing my bits so that I can serve the world and add value to their life. Because I believe that if one person is sick in the family, the whole family's life and destiny
Mm.
changes. I am all about family, and our families matter.
Yes, that's so real. And the fact that you discovered this work because it was something that you had to heal within yourself and your child.
Yeah.
To me, that's amazing. And I believe most people that I've talked to, this is exactly how they discover their work, like their life's work,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how that happens. For myself, um, I discovered it because I had to deconstruct from religion because
Yeah.
they had ingrained it and just pushed it in us. But what I found was, even as a person that went to church, all my life from probably my mother's womb, my grandmother was a pastor. And so I went to church pretty much all my life. But then what I realized was I was an unbelieving believer, because when the rubber met the road and things started happening that I needed healing in my own body, not rah rah in the church, how oh, praise God, this person got their healing, not all of that.
Yeah.
Just me. What do I need to heal?
Right.
And is God the person that can do it? So I started kind of going in that direction for myself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I need to figure this out, because
Yeah.
I know that there is a God.
Yeah.
But what these people are teaching me has nothing to do with, my life. And so that was kind of the path that took me down to really start diving deep into the energy healing work that I discovered that I already was in for many lifetimes.
Yes, it's just that we didn't call it that at the time.
Right.
We just call it,
Right.
yeah, I don't know what we used to call them, but we didn't call it energy. And energy is a
No.
very broad word. I think there has to be a better word, and I don't know yet what the word is, but I really like
Yes.
what you said about when there is chronic illness, when there are issues with finances or anything in relationships, etc., in our life. The question we
Yes.
ask is, what is this trying to teach me?
Yes.
What is the message in this for me? What
Yes.
do I need to know or vibrate at? The truth that we need to find. Because sometimes we might be living a lie. There is a list
Yes.
of 94 lies that I normally test my clients for. And there are lies, basically, these are false beliefs that might
Yes.
show up, is like something like, I am the only person in my relationship. It's a lie.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
shows up. It's not safe for me to heal. It's a lie
Yes.
that shows up. Probably we felt like, when I am
Yes.
ill, people will take care of me. There is everybody around me. And that's the only way I get attention, because as child,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So this
Yes.
is what shows up. So we
Yes.
test for, like, when, like, talking about chronic illness, because that's what I like to talk about, is there a secondary gain? What is this trying to give me in my life that I would not have otherwise? And if
Yes.
the moment we make that conscious, my clients go, oh my God, I know what that is. You know? Yeah. The only time my husband will do the dishes is when I have a headache.
Right.
The only
Or
time,
if I'm sick.
or I'm sick. Yeah, headache is a small
Mhm.
stuff, because we are talking about chronic something, chronic migraines, chronic back pains, stuff
Yes.
like that for
Yes.
20, 30,
Yes.
40 years. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what we do. So whenever there is back pain, I often say in my social media, don't just think posture. Think about what are the emotions that's lying in there. And that is exactly what I do. I test, okay, this is something physical. And if it is related to posture or the structure, it will show up. The body will say, hey, yes, this is, not working. Look at C1,
Yes.
look at T7, lumbar, whatever it is, it will show up. And if
Yes.
if we test, we might find, okay, this is also emotional. All the back
Yes.
pain clients that I have worked with, if I think of them collectively right now, that was to do with support. And if we feel
Yes.
that, yes, I do feel supported in my life, it could even be
Yes.
generational. My grandma never
Yes.
felt supported. And there is
Yes.
something in me that I have absorbed because I love my grandma so much, or maybe I just want to save my grandma. And I have that open door, and every single time something happens at workplace, my back starts to hurt. So I always look for clues like when does that show up, And sometimes it's
Yes.
nothing to do with workplace, it's just an inhalant. They used some sorts of chemicals to clean the space and your body didn't like it and it's trying to process it. Just the back happens to be the vulnerability of the person there, therefore it just goes and deposits in the back because there is a lot of emotion that we need to clear from the spine, the back, the discs, etc.
Yes. 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 That is some powerful medicine.
I love it. I think probably
You
that's what
know,
I
I
should call
mean,
it. Yeah.
it really is. It because if you think about it,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of times people will look at say something chronic like back pain,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
I can speak to that because I deal with that.
Oh,
And so when I started identifying the patterns around it,
right.
then I could see, and then also I could heal it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
You
and
know,
I
and let's
love
talk a little bit about modalities.
the word that you
What
said,
kind of modalities do you
powerful.
use?
Sorry, I think we are lagging here a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. It happens.
I would just like to
Yes,
add the word that he used, powerful medicine. I would
yes,
credit that
yes,
to the body because the divine has made this body
yes,
so well designed that it will always heal itself if we
yes,
find out what's blocking it. So when we
yes,
find what's blocking it, the body knows, okay, now I know how to
yes,
deal with this. I can take care of this. So it's the body that's
yes,
powerful, and
yes, and
again our connection with the divine is what helps us to heal.
yes. I truly believe that, and I know that
Yeah,
as we go through life, our body does keep the score.
it
So our
does.
body remembers, when this happened before.
It does.
When
It does.
my heart flutters. These are the things that happens,
Yeah.
or when I have goosebumps in the presence of greatness, as I do now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like the body keeps the score and remembers.
It does. It
And
does.
I can see that the work that you do actually helps people, to remember. Because I tell people all of this stuff that we are even doing now,
Yeah.
we've already done this.
Right.
We are just remembering right
Right.
now.
Right.
And I know that it's the same with the body.
Yeah.
It's the same with the conditions, because I went to the doctor and I had my labs done. And of course, my doctor comes back and she says, "Oh, you're pre-diabetic, because your number is this and blah, 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 blah." And I looked at her and I said, "No, I'm not." And so then she said it again. And I said, "No, I'm not." So
Yeah.
she said it again. And I said, "No, I'm not," again.
Uh-huh.
So then I guess she got it after that. She left me alone.
Ah,
But the thing is I didn't focus on,
yeah.
the numbers.
The labels.
Or I
Yeah.
didn't even focus on, having the thing. Because whatever they say, doesn't mean anything to me
Hmm.
if I don't give it meaning.
Right. Which is true.
So I chose not to give it meaning,
Which is true. Yeah. Yeah.
which is true. And now my body has released some weight
Uh-huh.
so that when I went to have my labs redrawn,
Hmm.
it shows on the lab work that I'm not even pre-diabetic.
That's awesome. You
Right.
probably did some energy work there.
I did.
Yeah.
I did indeed,
Yeah.
because I hate when they say, "Oh, well, your grandmother has it, your mama has it, so
Yeah.
and so has it, everybody in your family has it, so you're gonna have it."
Yeah.
No, no, I'm not.
Well, here's the way we look at it. When there is a history, That's a fact. That is not something I like to deny. However,
Right, right.
what I like to I know in my family, every single person has a history of blood pressure issues from a certain age. My
Yes, yes,
grandfather had diabetes since he was 17, and it was
yes,
type 1. So this is how I look at it. If he had that frequency in him, the chances are that his offsprings will have them. They will be born with it. The question is whether or not it will be expressed in this lifetime. And this depends upon our lifestyle, our thought process, energetically, how strong we are, spiritually, how strong we
right.
are. All of this plays a role. And holding on to trauma from 15 years ago, whether we are aware of it or not, is a factor that I have seen will be expressing the
Yes,
trauma. Okay, something happened for
yes,
me like when I was age 10, right? And then in my 20s or like in my 30s, something happened where it was a stress related to work. That was a resonating field. And this is how the diseases and the illnesses fires or they express in this lifetime. Our
yes,
job is My job as a practitioner is to keep my clients side of the street clear.
yes.
So that's
That
what, yeah, yeah, that's how I look at it.
and that is an amazing perspective, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
i
know,
think i
and
think
I
that
love the
works.
way
Yeah,
that you, yes.
yeah, yeah.
I was going to say, I love the way that you express that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's real, you know?
I love to simplify so that people can understand, because when they understand, it's easier to adapt.
Yes. So I have a question. You work with the body's intelligence through muscle testing and
Yeah,
energetic regulation.
right.
So, how does listening to the body's subtle signals become an act of spiritual authority, especially for women navigating midlife reinvention?
Mm-hmm. That's a broad question, but that is something I deal with every single client, one phone call at a time. Depends on
Yes.
who is dealing with what, whether it is something on a spiritual journey, okay, I'm trying to end the suffering, or whether it is more on a chronic illness. I have this chronic illness and I have been dealing with this for 25 years. Or it could be
Yes.
something to do with abundance. So, based on that, the answer changes, because based on what caused it, we treat the symptoms, kind of. If it is a mold issue, the treatment changes. But if it's something to do with spirituality, this is how it works. So, is there a specific example that you have that I can use, kind of, so that we can display what we are talking about to our listeners?
Yeah. I mean, if you could just take an example, say from one of your clients
Uh huh.
that maybe was dealing with, say something that the body was speaking to them, like if
Okay.
they had fibromyalgia or something like that, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I actually had a client with fibromyalgia, and she is in her late 50s. And
Mm-hmm.
when we started working together, she was doing all sorts of medications. Her lifestyle was pretty clean. I was so surprised that she was so aware of toxins and she was trying to keep away from them. And I always love that, because their body loves that. When
Yes.
we started to work together, I started to muscle test her and find out, testing for this person, the fibromyalgia. So I don't necessarily say the word fibromyalgia, because that's a diagnosis, that's a label
Right.
given to them. But then I'm going
Yes.
in through, okay, what exactly does fibromyalgia look for you? What does
Yes.
that
Yes.
make you feel like? Oh, she's like,
Yes.
okay, I have this shooting pain in my shoulders every single day when I wake up. Okay, now that's what I like to hear, because we want to find out what's going on in that field. If she would say, okay, this is what, so my testing helped me to find out, okay, this is a detoxification issue. There is the blockage in the detoxification system. Your body likes to get rid of certain toxins and it's not able to. And then we would find out why. This is where I found the trauma. She said that she was adopted. and she don't know her, biological parents. She had to go through a lot of trauma because of that, even though she had good parents, but then from outside. And she described everything that she went through, and that was blocking her detoxification channel. So that is
Wow.
that is that is how it looks like for me when I am speaking to the field, to the body, like, and the body talks back, kind of. Yeah, I can't detoxify because this is what happened to me, age 3. Okay,
Mm.
then we find out, okay, if that is the priority, we find out, can the body heal this? Can we clear this now? Do we have the energy to clear this? Is there something we need to support the body from outside, as in the supplements or certain products, or like herbs or something like that? So that's how it's kind of a detective process, and find out, do you have everything you need so that you can heal this? So
Yes.
we say yes or no. So that's how it looks like when we dialogue with a person's field body.
So do you see yourself as a medical intuitive?
um I would say I am a good muscle tester. um Intuition is something where you just know, right? And sometimes that does happen on our team calls, as practitioners. Every week we get together, and this is what the founder would say is, as and when you will muscle test, your intuition will improve. And I have sensed that over a period of time, even though I have been gifted. My mom has said that you have been intuitive whole your life. So within 2 minutes, I can say whether something's going to work or not. I told my husband a yes. It was an arranged marriage in 5 minutes, and I have never met him before. So my intuition just said, "This is the guy." So that's how I have worked my whole life. In 5 minutes, I
That
decided
is
I will.
amazing. That I love. I love that because
Yeah,
you don't often hear it in
yeah,
that way. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
most of the people are like, "Oh, it was an arranged marriage. I didn't love him, and this and that." But you're saying something totally different. Your
Oh yeah.
intuition told you that he was the one.
Yeah, yeah. So medical intuitive is like the same. I don't know
I
much
believe
about
that you
them.
are. That's why I asked that question because
It
that's what
could
it
be
sounded like to
something,
me.
as a, I would say this, that I wouldn't call myself a medical intuitive, but then with the help of testing, I can find out whether, if somebody is going through a knee issue, whether that is really a knee issue, or is it just the toxin buildup that, and that is something you test. I have worked with people with knee issue. They were going in for a surgery. We found out this is an emotional stuff. You need to talk to your brother. We haven't spoken in 30 years. No problem. Just hold your phone, just record a video and send it to him anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes.
moment he decided that, guess what? His brother called him back. Never spoke in 35 years. It's just your intention that works. So, yeah.
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 I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So, speak to the type of clients that
Mhm.
you're looking for.
I would love to work with somebody who has tried everything and still haven't found that relief that you are looking for, is open for alternatives, because like I said, I am not a doctor. However, I do
Right.
work with my clients, and they have team of other practitioners, doctors, and I consider them as a strong, like, I believe in doctors. I know how hard they work for your diagnosis. I believe in acupuncture therapists,
Yes.
naturopaths, chiropractors. Every single person
Love them.
brings
Yes.
something to the table. It's like a piece of a
Yes.
puzzle. What I test
Yes.
for is, what do you need right now? What
Yes.
is right for you, and everything that they are doing for you. If there is an emotion stuck, let's clear that so that those treatments can work better.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's always a marriage. So I have worked closely with doctors, and I have grown up with them, kind of, so to speak. But then, yeah, I believe in teamwork.
Yeah. I believe that just as you said, everything's a piece of the puzzle.
Right, including
We're
the team
working with
of God.
you. Yes.
Yeah, even God is part of that team.
I was going to say, I always talk about my spirit team
Uh-huh.
because I believe that God is the collective
Yes.
And I believe that all those across the veil are part of our team.
Yeah.
And then we have our spirit guides, and we
Yeah.
have our angels, our archangels, all these
Absolutely.
people that are part of
Absolutely.
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I would just like to add, for somebody who may or may not be a religious person or may not believe in God, that's okay too. Because
That's okay.
if we believe that there is something higher than us, I am a believer
Yes.
of God. I believe there is God. I invite God in every
Yes.
single sessions that I do.
Yes.
I don't think
Yes.
I am the one who does anything. I just think God is helping us, and the person's doing the major heavy lifting. My job is to find answers. However,
Yes.
if you don't, that's okay too. You don't have to. But I would just
Yes.
say, even if you believe in the higher self or the
Yes.
universe or the divine energy, it's all the
Yes.
same thing. Yeah, yeah,
It's really semantics. I think about it like this. I always tell people is the God of your own understanding.
right.
So if you understand them to be God, source, universe,
Yeah,
the one, my mother calls it the omni,
hmm,
you know,
yeah.
what the one,
The
whatever it
Omni. Yeah,
is
yeah,
that makes sense to
yeah,
you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like you, I call them God. I
yeah,
believe that
yeah.
that they're a collective,
That's true.
and
That's true.
but that's, like I said, that is something that
Yeah,
I went to. And I believe that we give everyone else the grace to be whatever they want to be as far as that, because
that's true.
my grandmother actually had a conversation with a gentleman
Mm-hmm.
that was Jehovah Witness.
Uh-huh.
And my grandmother was a Pentecostal preacher. Basically, she kind of toggled between some of like Reverend Knight stuff, and she actually got into like Louise Hay and,
Hmm.
Wayne Dyer and some of these people, Abraham
Those are
Hicks,
big
before she
names.
passed.
Those are big names.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So she got into them,
Hmm.
before she
That's
passed,
awesome. Yeah.
and kind of did a shifting, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't see it, but I did,
Yeah.
and so she kind of guided me as well. But she was having this conversation, and she said to this person, she said, "Now your name is Robert, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And she said, "If I call you Robert, will you answer?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Your name is," she called him his middle name, and he said, "Yeah, I answer." And then she called him his last name. He said, "Yeah, I'll answer." She said, "God is the same. It doesn't matter, what you call him.
Yeah.
He's going to answer if you're talking to him."
Yeah. That's true.
And,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that was just so awesome,
That's true.
because she saw going on about how people didn't know, God was Jehovah and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. What matters is your intention. Are you
That's
talking
true.
to God?
That's true.
Then they'll answer. Whatever you call them, Joe,
That's true.
Alice,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. So that kind of taught me,
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
just that little snippet. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize until later what that
That's
really meant for me,
beautiful. That's beautiful experience. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's
It was
why it has
awesome.
stayed with you all these years, and it will forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I explain it to people just like that, because
Yeah.
it just boggles my mind that people have all these arguments about, a name.
Yeah. Well, like they say, what's in the name?
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna land this plane. This has been such an amazing conversation. I have to say that.
Oh,
And I'm so grateful that you took a chance to come on Straight Out of Savannah and talk about it. But I have to ask you the question that I ask all of my guests. If there was one thing in the world that you could change, what
mhm.
would that be and why?
So if there was one thing that I could change in the world is I would love for every single person under the sky to go out into the world with love, joy, and happiness. And I believe in serving others. That's one of my purpose. And I believe in adding value to other people's life. That might not be your purpose. Find your purpose and do it with love anyway. Not out of fear, not out of greed, not out of anything else. Just love. And that would be a parallel universe. And if that happens, I believe it would be a wonderful, beautiful place to live. with that in this world. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I love that
yeah,
because that is absolutely, I think
yeah.
that I don't think I've gotten that answer that out of all the interviews. I was trying to think
Oh,
so far, maybe only 3 or 4 people said the same thing in over 200 or 300 interviews.
mhm,
So,
yeah,
so I always listen to see, what people say because I think about it in terms of, how can we make this world better?
yeah. Well,
That kind of was my,
just by feeling loved yourself, and if you have connection with the divine, like we were talking about, you will feel like
yeah,
you are loved. I could sense Tammy feels that she is loved, no matter the
yes,
world around her, what they are saying, what they are feeling.
yes,
If you feel the same from them, that's a bonus. But feeling that connection will help you feel loved, and when you feel
yes,
that love, you will show up different. I can say. And working with mainly chronic illness, even when I was in hospital and even today when I work with people over the phone, I think that is the number one thing that helps people to even heal is,
yeah,
am I loved? Yes.
yes,
Yes, you are.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That is, and that's what we need. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I always hear the Beatles song. All we need is love.
That's true. That's
Love
true.
is all we need. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, that is so real. And I think that I think that actually in this time that we're in now,
Yeah.
this is a polarizing time for us in the world.
It is.
And I believe that in this time,
Mhm.
even, I
Mhm.
believe that this time came for this reason.
That's true.
Because I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. I'm seeing so many instances of people showing love to people that they don't even know.
Yeah. And
Doing
kindness.
things. Yes. And
Yes.
that is what I'm seeing. And that
Yes.
is
Yes.
it's what they showed me that we
Yeah.
were gonna have,
Yeah.
when we got through
Mm-hmm.
all of the stuff,
Yeah.
the foolishness, let's say that, the fuckery. And when we got
Yeah.
through all of that,
Yeah. It's hard.
that's what the end result was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say not just telling yourself that I'm loved or something, but if you just want to take
Right.
it a notch up, and if you are a risk taker, I invite you to just vibrate at the frequency of I am love. I am love.
Yes.
It's not about whether you deserve it, you don't deserve it. No, that's we are talking some one step above it. I am
Yes.
love. You are, because you are.
Yes.
That's how God designed us human beings, to be always together for each other. We were never designed to be isolated, and that's
No.
not even how our brain operates. The neuroscience has proved it. And yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's amazing when you think about it in that way because it's like, no. And I think that's why COVID was such ooh, a challenge. That's what,
Well,
for
I
a lot of people,
that's
just
that's how
because of
I
that.
saw this. I know it is a challenge, and I've seen and I've worked with, and there are people in our family whom we have lost to COVID, which is very sad,
Yes.
and I feel bad. However, for this is how I view COVID once it was over. It was an invitation to look
Yes.
inside and go
Yes.
inside, to take that
Yes.
journey within us so that we can find our own self. and
Yes.
and and I felt there was a shift in the consciousness after COVID.
Yes. It was.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was. It was. For me personally, it was a real shift
Uh-huh.
because I got long COVID and it has
Yeah.
been very challenging. I
Yeah.
mean, I had to like retire. So like I
Yeah.
had to shift my whole life because of this thing that it challenged me in the way that I could not remember anything.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was had early dementia. I was in my 50s. I'm in my 50s.
That's
I
fine.
thought I had early dementia. I mean, it was so horrific when it started for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
And what I've learned through it
Mm-hmm. Yes.
is it was necessary because I needed to slow down. There were things that I needed to do as a healer
Mm-hmm.
that COVID helped me to understand.
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a lot of compassion for people
That's
that I
good.
probably really didn't have um, at that on that level.
Hmm.
And so I really learned how to really be patient,
Yeah.
not only with other people, but with myself.
Yeah.
Because I was a person that did things really, really fast all the time.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so, and I would get really, really frustrated with other people that were really, really slow. And
Yeah.
so I had to learn that. And so in this gift, with this gift,
Yeah.
I was able to learn that and I was able to just, dial it back and
That's awesome.
actually, focus on myself, which is something that as a woman, we're not even taught to
No,
do that.
no, we're not. We're not. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe it and I think that it was this gift to humanity as well, for the
I
exact
love
same
that
reason.
story. I love that story, like how it, just it came in a bad way, but then you just took it
Yeah.
in such a positive manner. I'm sure you would have
Yeah.
done a lot of healing work, otherwise that would have never been possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to be. Like, what is this here for?
Yes, yes.
Sometimes it's a blessings in disguise.
Yeah, I call it a gift in the garbage,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
because it was, it was all this stuff. To me, it felt like it was just dumped on
Yeah.
me. Like one day I just couldn't fucking remember anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was terrible. Like I couldn't, and I still struggle with like names and stuff of people. I'm better, but I struggle with that, and that's something that I used to pride myself of, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I could always remember people's names.
Yeah.
Years ago, before we had cell phones, I remembered people's phone numbers,
Sure. Yeah.
all of this stuff. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay. And then I realized that, some things I just don't need to remember.
Right.
I mean, I was
Right.
like, you know what? Why did I keep all that stuff in my head?
Right.
Maybe I didn't need to hold all of that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Maybe those
Yeah.
were
There are
different
certain things we
energies that,
definitely don't. Yeah.
yes. So it's
Yeah.
like, maybe those were different energies that
Yeah.
I needed to release.
Yeah.
And so when I started looking at it in that way, that's when I realized the gift of it. Because at first, I'm not going to lie to you, I was really upset
Yeah. Of
and I was
course. Yeah.
disgusted,
Yeah.
but because I said to God, I was like, well, why did it have to happen like this?
Sure. Yeah.
I was looking at it, I wanted this thing to happen,
Yeah.
I'm ready to retire,
Yeah.
but I was like, I wanted it to happen like this,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I want to walk off into the sunset.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through all this crap. I don't want to be, exhausted all the time and, whatever. Cause girl, it would be like I worked part-time.
Oh,
I would work 2 days. And after I finished working those 2 days, it would take me 2 days to recover from working
oh,
those 2 days.
yeah. That's hard.
So I was like, and
That's hard.
after a while, it was like, okay. And then my husband was like, you don't need to do this. I got us.
Yeah.
You can step back, and you can do what you want to do.
Exactly. That's the
So
kind
for
of
me,
freedom. Yeah.
right.
We
But
need.
I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't think it was gonna come that way. You know what I
That's
mean? Like,
true.
how we do. We're
That's
like, oh
true.
no, it's gonna come like this, and we're gonna, we're gonna do this, we're gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
It's like people that are looking for husbands. Oh, he's gonna just knock on my door from UPS or something.
We wish.
I don't have to go out. I don't
Yeah.
have to meet anybody.
Yeah.
He's just gonna come in the mailbox. He's gonna
Uh-huh.
send me a letter in the mail
Yeah.
and tell me he's ready to marry. You know what I mean?
It's true. That's true. I always say, like, when we ask for something, there are lots of vision board workshops and everything. We just write down, this is what I want. We put pictures. Be very mindful of first what we are asking for, because it will be given.
Yes.
And second, we can never decide the way in which it will be delivered.
Yes.
So yeah, because if we do, then we are too attached to the process, and that's not how
Yes.
it's going to work. So yeah, just clearing that attachment. And I've seen this a lot in business. Like, I want this many clients, and then I want it only this way. And okay, I would say just detach from the process. Just keep the end
Yes.
goal in the mind. And yeah, we do a lot of clearing on that too, like find out what is blocking your abundance, right? So that is something
Yes.
I've done with coaches, and yeah, that has been awesome. And things show up
Yes.
and they're like, okay, here it is. I always say, just bring your junk, because we are going to
Yeah.
clear it.
I'm
So,
telling you, and it's got to feel so fulfilling.
oh yes.
Seeing them, start
Mhm.
here, and then next thing
Mhm.
that you cleared this, and they're
Yeah,
here, and
yeah.
they can actually.
The clearing that
Okay,
we
so
do,
songs always come to me.
what I have
I was
seen
like,
is when we clear something, like if we clear one field, there could be another field that would just clear because of that. And I would have never thought of that, nor would my client. They're like, okay, now this is showing up different. I am showing up different to the world because
yeah,
we are changing the lens, we are changing the beliefs that we were living at. Like, I am not worthy. I am not lovable. It's not safe for me to
yes,
heal. It's not safe for others if I heal. So the kind of beliefs that show up during our testing and the kind of beliefs that we can clear, it's easy to clear, but we got to find them.
that is. I tell you. So, is there something that you would like to leave for the audience, a gift?
Yeah, I actually have a healing intergenerational trauma using best healing solutions. It's a guide which talks about the types of traumas and the beliefs and illnesses that we inherit, like we were talking about, which is running in the genes, and how
Yeah.
can we clear those at a cellular level so that we do not pass them on to our offsprings. And that was so important for me. I was like, I don't want to pass on my junk to my daughter.
Um,
So
mm-mm.
yeah, we call them cycle breakers. So just finding out what is it that's blocking us and then clearing them. And I've actually have a guide, a PDF, which I'm going to leave with Tammy. And if anybody has questions about everything that we spoke about today or for treatments, reach out to me directly on my email. It's Puja at besthealingsolutions.com. It's PUJA at besthealingsolutions.com.
Awesome. And I'll have all of that in the show notes. So
Sure,
all of her things will be in there. So you can just click the
sure.
links anywhere that you watch this show or listen, because this show will be on Substack. It is also on YouTube. And you can listen to it on all the podcast places, Apple, Google, Spotify, all of that stuff.
That's
So
awesome.
definitely check it out,
That's
and
awesome.
definitely check out Puja,
Oh,
because the work that she does is fire,
oh,
especially if it's
thank you.
fire season.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
You're
deeply
so
appreciate it. Yeah.
welcome. You're so welcome. I can just see, I can feel the energy that you use to clear these things. And I know that people are just getting healed all over the world.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be
Praise
here
the
and talking to you.
So yes, the honor is mine, and I'm so grateful
Oh,
that you
thank
took
you.
this time out to share with us. And if anyone would love to speak with Puja, her details will be in the show notes. So you can click all of those things and connect with her. And I'm just so grateful that she has chosen to show up here today
I'm grateful to be here.
in this amazing conversation, because,
Yes.
oh, so good. So, again, make sure that you are following her. I will have all of her stuff there. You can connect with her. Where is the best place to connect with you?
Um, in terms of social media,
Yes,
um, whatever
or
people
your website.
prefer. Yeah, website Best Healing Solutions. I have my email there, or meetpuja.com. MEETPUJA.com has all my links and all my social media, WhatsApp, everything in there. Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook works. So yeah,
Gotcha. Love
yeah.
it. All right. So there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah.